So yeah, these people were moved out within like the next 24 hours, and I was surprised because I thought they had 30 days. So that was another time, and then another time, I was working on a shoe design, doing rubber mold for somebody's shoe, and the people at the press knew it was me, and they started playing games. So after about like 20 emails, she made their machine burst into flame. And they called me back like, "Hey man, the stuff burst into flame and stuff." And I just sat there like, "Man, I don't know. But I knew, you know. So a week later, after they got their stuff up, they was able to continue all their orders, and they were a little sad that they were shut down for like a week or something. And then I was like, okay. So ever since then, I've just been moving forward and doing this whole thing for everybody to be able to say, hey, we don't have to live in a situation where we're worried about something, worried about the next meal, or worried about where this is coming from. Instead, just let all this floodgate come down so everybody can have their 100,000, 100 million, $100 million in credit. You know what I mean? That's pretty good. I mean, it's a fictional thing, but that's a lot of resources. So we would have the ability to create like really simple assembly lines with just arms that make like burgers and keep the same recipe every time. And just like the cars, they can make a car from one side of an assembly line to another. So we don't need to be like, slaving around and doing anything. In a futuristic society, things just work out, the way that she intended with like technology. So in the end, it's better for everyone to stop running around. But that's just, my opinion about that. Some people want to run around, but to be honest, it's not worth your time whenever there's so many greater things in the world to embark on, instead of a simple loop of life that just has same simple expectations, one that doesn't benefit you or anyone else. It just kind of everyone is just being a slave, or none of it's any good for anyone. So ultimately, that's not the plan. And these beings, they want to keep it like that, so you don't, you just slave away all the time, and nobody really needs to do that. And the biggest slave master is the one that is the biggest slave, because they have to do all this stuff, and I mean, it's so much work, So at the end of the day, to get that would be basically for me to do exactly what I was meant to do, which is to foreclose on the whole thing, and then make it to where this guy comes out and then just go into the presidency. But what I can tell is that she's saying we're ready, but I can imagine that she probably wants this to come out before these guys and humans or anything is affected by anything that is going on with these towers. So and the chips and whatever else. So that's what I'm working on. But I know that anyway it goes, I've been put under the presumptions that we'll be able to do whatever anyway after this is over, one way or another. So with that being said, I mean, a lot of these ships have been seen around, and they're just everywhere. This place is already something that we pretty much own. They're supposed to be servants that these public servants and stuff like that. They're supposed to be operating the trust on your behalf. So you're a shareholder of United States Corporation, and it's $100 million share. And you've been running around working 9 to 5s for free, and you've been paying yourself, and your taxes is all coming out of your stuff. So they're stealing, and everybody's stealing. Like, everyone is just stealing, and it's not necessary. And the trustees, they can operate a trust and take enough cut to where, lawfully, that they wouldn't have to do that. It would be a more mutual and a cool, no fine print. Is like straight in your face, like, okay, you agree to this, right? All right, yeah, cool. Now I can do this and do that, and your needs would be met, and their needs would be met, and it would be out in the open, and the economy would be busting, and it would just be huge. And it would just be going on and on and on, and it would just be a fucking wonderful thing. And that's what I'm saying. So everyone's like scroungy and running around all rough, and it's not even worth it. No one's benefiting anything from anything. And at the end of the day, hey, we can do better, you know. That's just how I feel about it. And obviously, somebody doesn't want you to hear that, or maybe they didn't even know I was going to say that because it never got this far before. All right, so when I see deja vu and I seen myself, I've never seen myself before, so I started realizing that the chakras might actually exist in a multiverse, fourth dimension, you know, a different like multiverse, like the one or like the Spider-Man in the multiverse, because the whole monuments of the United States Corp is only familiar from time to time, and I never seen myself in any of those. I just remember the floor plans of all these monuments, and when I go inside of them, I have deja vu like that. But I think I saw another chakra of myself with a blue shirt that I never lost and shorter dreads. It was pretty interesting because I was standing in the same hats doing DMT out of my areas and stuff, and I knew that I was doing the same thing, but I was like, did I do this before? So that's what kind of brought that on. We couldn't possibly be in the Keanu Reeves Matrix because this place is still just the same fantasy it always was. So it's just the dark side of the moon, pretty much. And then you just see the same floor plan. And then there's likely a multiverse where your chakras go to, because if you're not splitting them into this domain here, then where do they go? And then if you see this being, split them too the same way. And these beings apparently split them into 3. And we have like 7. And then she's got like, man, unbelievable amount. I haven't been able to configure because I've been counting like, wait. So I think it's infinitely, it's an infinite number. I don't know. It's like the initial beings that everyone kind of knows. And then there's everyone's light body mate and stuff like that. Very interesting. Yeah, so everybody's got this being as a confidant. So mine obviously many, and then like there's a goofy character that's real. That's a light body in the 4th dimension, and they have a goof troop thing going on. So it's like, you see what I mean? It's like everybody's got this at the top of their light body. Yeah, so I can explain further, but I think I've talked about it enough. That the light comes from the avatar people. It shines out of their skin, and then when it's separated, the 3rd dimension's pop culture influenced the 4th dimension. So, and then all these characters started coming out of, from what I can imagine, their own livelihood of creating and self-manifesting their own light for millions or thousands of years after the split happened. But yeah, that's the simple terms. All right, so yeah, all these things to benefit everyone, and it doesn't make any sense to keep it back, because then if you don't share, it's